Come on into the chat. Come on into the chat. Yes, come on in. All right, let me get some things ready. Oh, I hope this sun is not going to be a problem. Can you guys see me? I brought my glasses so I could actually read today. Come on, guys. Come on into the chat. All right, guys. Welcome in. It is Sunday morning. Thank you for taking time out of your day to spend with me and get to know me a little bit better. I thought it was important for us to do this live chat just so I think it was long overdue. And I really needed to do this because I felt like you guys needed to know a little bit more about me, especially, me suggesting meals and things like that, and why I suggest what I suggest. And yeah, where I come from, why I tend to like the foods that I like, different things like that. And just so you guys could get to know me, like I said, just a little bit better. So welcome in everyone. I have my computer here because you guys left a lot of questions, over 40 something questions, and I probably won't be able to answer all of them, but I will try. What I will do, I'll read some of the questions, and you guys can also go ahead and ask a question. So that way we're probably doing double duty. We're answering the question within the question. But welcome, guys. I see a couple of you have joined. Welcome in. So let me introduce myself first of all, and this will probably answer some of the questions. So, hi, I'm Michelle. I am a mother, a wife, and a grandmother. I have 2 children. I'm not going to give you their names or anything like that because my kids, my family don't want to be part of this new life that I've started. So I have a son and a daughter. My son is older, he's 28, and my daughter is 26. I have been with my husband for 35 years and married 30. I have a granddaughter. She is 7 years old. So that's just a little bit of my life. Hello, everybody. Welcome in. You guys were almost like me, almost missed the live. My gosh, 11 o'clock rolls around real quick on a Sunday. All right, so that was a little bit about me. But let me get to the questions because, like I said, there's a lot of questions and I really want to be able to answer as many as I can. I will keep it a little informal, so I'll answer the questions, but you guys can also ask questions here as well, and I'll try to do both, okay? Let me grab my glasses because your girl can't see without her glasses. All right, let's do the first one. This one is coming from Angela Phelps, 9986. Okay, she says, are there times when you may attend a gathering or event that is not vegan friendly? If so, what do you do in those instances? Also, how do you handle being vegan and others are not in terms of dining together and holidays? That's a lot. And, it gets heavy sometimes. So if I'm going out or if I'm invited somewhere, right? Let's say it's a restaurant. I research. I researched the restaurant to see what their menu has on it. If it's not going to be anything that's vegan, which most restaurants will have something, they'll have like sides or something like it. But if it's not going to be a meal, I'll eat before I go. So I make sure that I eat before I go. I make sure I have snacks like nuts or something like that in my bag. And when I get to the restaurant, just so I'm not a party pooper and I'm the only one that's like, I'm not gonna eat, I'll just order something like a side, maybe broccoli or I don't know, French fries or potato or something like that. Something that I know that I can't eat, just so I'm part of the gathering. As far as being comfortable with everybody else being vegan, not being vegan, and I'm being vegan, that was hard. That took some years. So I'm 53. I've started my vegan journey maybe 30 something years ago. I was in my 20s, like early 20s, 30 some years ago. I'm getting the times mixed up. And it was hard back then. It was hard to tell people that I didn't eat meat. It was even harder 10 years ago. So 10 years ago, I decided that that was it. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm just gonna think about me and stop thinking about everybody else. because I was getting sick. I was getting sick, but because I wanted everybody to feel comfortable when I went out, I'd be like, okay, I'll have the fish or I'll have something like that. And then I was sick for days. And at that moment, I said, what am I doing? Why am I thinking about them? They're not thinking about me. They're home, happy, feeling good, going to the bathroom. Meanwhile, I'm here. I'm constipated, I'm throwing up, my stomach hurt. So I started to think about me and not worry so much about everybody else. And that's how I get through, with other people. As far as holidays, it's been 10 years that people know that I am 100% vegan. 30 years ago, okay, let me go back a little bit. So I'm Jamaican. My dad would not understand whenever I was vegan. He was like, he would barbecue and he was always like, Michelle, we have the chicken ready, the chicken ready, the chicken ready. And I'd be like, Daddy, I'm vegan. He'd be like, what that mean? And I'm like, I don't eat meat. And he's like, all right, then the fish ready. It was just so hard. So I would always go back again and I would, just to please him, eat what he was eating. So it was hard for a while. Now, 10 years in, everybody knows. Whenever they invite me somewhere, they be like, and I made this little something for you, it's vegan. Or I'll try to bring something just to introduce them to what what plant-based food, because I don't want to call it vegan, what plant-based food. I really try to do more plant-based because vegan really isn't healthy. A lot of the meats that are out there are vegan, the vegan meats, and they're not healthy. So I try to bring something plant-based just to show them how it, what it tastes like, that they have options. I hope that answers your question. I'm trying not to be all over the place, but I hope that answers your question. Hi, Betty. Hi. Some of the names I recognize because a lot of you are also on my Instagram. So I recognize a lot of the names because we have conversations in the DM. All right, let's see. Let's go to the next question. Flight attendant lifestyle. All right, where did you, I think you mixed it up a little bit, your wording. Where did you live and are you a chef? All right, I'm not a chef. I don't claim to be a chef. I never went to any professional school to be a chef. So I don't want to say I'm a chef. I am an at-home cook. Now, I'll be honest with you. Years ago, I remember when I got out of college. So I'll give you a little story because you said, where did you live? Right? I lived in the Bronx. I lived in New York. I had started dating my husband in college. If I'm Jamaican, like I said before, if you understand the Jamaican or the Caribbean culture, the only career path that they accept is doctor, lawyer, nurse, engineer, accountant. I think those were the 5 options that my dad gave me. Like, you have to be one of those when you grow up. My dad was an accountant and my mom was a registered nurse. So he was like, well, pick one. I was not going to be a registered nurse. That's not what I wanted to do. I love to cook. But my dad was an accountant and he seemed like he was doing well. So I was like, okay, I'll do that too, right? So I went to school for accounting. Yeah, your girl did not do well. So that's how I met my husband. He was my math tutor. He said to me while he was tutoring me for math, you know what, Michelle, maybe you should do something else because this is not for you. What do you want to do? And I said to him, I would love to cook. I said, I would love to be a chef. And he said, well, why don't you go to school for that? So it was always there. Plus I was cooking from when I was like 7, like in my teenage years. So I always kind of wanted to cook. Hence, I didn't go to school to be a chef. I happened to, at the time I was just like doing like part-time work at Macy's or something like that. I think I worked in like the juniors department. And a manager said to me, cosmetics, the cosmetic department, they make a good amount of money because they work on commission. Instead of going to school to be a chef, because I know you don't want to be in a hot kitchen. She thought I was pretty. At the time, I was like, nobody ever really told me I was pretty. So she was like, you're a pretty girl. You should go work in cosmetics. And I was like, I don't want to be in cosmetics. At the time, the only people I ever saw in cosmetics did not look like me. They were all white girls. They were just really skinny. And I was like, that doesn't seem like something I want to do. But I went and I worked in cosmetics and I ended up having a 30-something year career in cosmetics. So to answer your question, I'm not a chef, always wanted to be a chef. And yeah, I know these answers are long, but we're getting to know me, right? You're getting to know where my brain is and how I ended up here. All right, the next one is from Denise Porter, Anderson 9886. I'm a vegetarian and struggle with breakfast recipes. Can you recommend some? Okay. Breakfast is hard because I do a lot of intermittent fasting. I am not a big breakfast girl. However, I would say easy breakfast ideas. I'll give you a couple, but you got to dive into the YouTube. You know, I try to put the playlist together so it's titled breakfast, so you could go in and see some easy recipes that I have there. The easiest thing I would think, avocado toast. That's super easy to do. It's basically toast with just some mashed up avocados. You could add whatever you want, onions to it, nothing but the bagel seasoning. I think that's really easy. Overnight oats is really easy. Just add fruit to it. Chia pudding is really easy, and both overnight oats and chia pudding has a lot of protein. Those are just some easy recommendations. They're quick. You could take them with you. Also, protein shakes. Protein shakes are super easy. It doesn't have to get complicated. Easy protein shake is coconut water, some frozen berries, and your favorite protein powder. Put that in there, whip it up. You got breakfast. All right. Let me try to do the next person. Okay. Let me go down a little bit because some of them are repetitive. Okay, someone here has asked, Robin Edwards X40 has asked, hello, have you ever tried raw vegan? Do you have any raw vegan recipes? Okay, there was a time where I wanted to go raw vegan, but why it's hard for me to do, and now that I'm in a position where I'm creating content and I get a lot of brand collaborations, like brand deals, it's kind of hard for me to stick with just a raw diet. Now, I try to do at least 80% of the day raw, but I crave mushrooms. I crave cooked mushrooms, so it's a little hard for me to do raw. I do, however, quarterly, we'll do a detox. Whenever the seasons start, I'll do a detox, and it'll be a raw, 7 days of just raw meals. So I do have raw recipes on my website. It's at myvegankitchens.com. So if you go on, I have a whole raw recipes. Also have, it's in an ebook form. So if you're looking for raw recipes, it's there, but I don't do a lot of them, like I said, now, because now that this has become more of a business, I kind of have to be mindful of the collaborations. All right, let's see what we got here. Ooh, it's getting hot in here. All right, let's move to the next one. Hi, Michelle, what do you have? Okay, someone asked, her name is Gina T8, what do I have growing on my balcony? And I know that's an old video, and I'm getting that question a lot. I don't have anything growing on my balcony right now. So last year I did a balcony garden. Loved it, loved it. I did tomatoes, lettuces, herbs, different things like that. This year, and you guys will be the first to hear it because you're on my live, I decided that I'm gonna renovate my kitchen. I decided that in March of this year, and now we're in what, October? That has been the hardest task to get through. Contractors have disappeared on me. A lot has been going on. I finally found a designer that I absolutely love and a contractor that I absolutely love. We looked at the rendering, we designed the kitchen, but guess what? Everything is backed up. All the contractors are backed up, they're still working, so I haven't been able to start the kitchen. And because I live in a condo, if you're wondering, where's the story going? Because I was talking about the garden. I live in a condo, and the balcony area, because it's a high rise, is the only place that the HOA will allow for the contractors to cut whatever they need to cut. So I had to leave that balcony area empty and not put any plants on it. But I'm mad because I missed the whole summer of not growing anything, and now we're in October, and it seems like this kitchen is not gonna start till November. So stay tuned, all right? All right, let me see. I'm gonna come back to here, but you guys have questions, and I wanna kind of answer that also. All right, how do you reach proper nutrient? Okay, so this question is from Reese, Reecee, and she says, how do you reach proper nutrient level proteins, for example, eating 2 meals a day? I hate to use the term snacking because snacking is not the best way, but that's the term I'm going to use. So let's say I'm intermittent fasting, right? On the days that I do, because sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It just depends on what the workout is like what my exercise is like that morning. Let's say I start eating at 12 o'clock. Obviously, because it's a shorter time between 12 and 7 where I'm gonna be eating, that's where the question comes from if I'm only eating 2 meals a day. So I make sure that that first meal that I break my fast with is a high protein meal. On those days, and I know a lot of people don't want to do tofu, so you're gonna have to find another high protein meal. I'll do like tofu. I'll make it into like a cream cheese. I think I have that recipe. So I take the firm tofu, put it in the blender with like scallions, seasoning, all types of seasoning, whatever, and create like a paste, like a cream cheese paste. And I'll put that on sourdough bread. That alone has a high amount of protein. So tofu is gonna give you maybe about 8 grams of protein a serving. That would probably be about 3 servings, and that will be my meal one. Also with that, sometimes I'll sprinkle hemp seeds on it. That'll add to the protein. So that first meal is probably about 30 grams of protein. Snack on nuts, seeds, those are high in protein also. And then my meal, my dinner, again, I'll try to have a high protein dinner. And that will bring me to about 90 grams of protein in a day. Now, I know they said you should have a little bit more, especially that I'm menopausal right now. I should be having about 120 grams of protein a day, but every day is different. So the next day, instead of doing 2 meals, I'll try to do 3 full meals and make sure those 3 full meals have at least 30 grams of protein, and then I'll snack on nuts or anything else high protein like edamame or something like that to bring me to 120. So I hope that answers your question. But I'll also try to put up a lot more. What I'm starting to do, and believe me, I'm a lay person when it comes to tech, tech stuff and all that stuff. I am just learning, guys. I'm just learning all of this. I don't have anybody to help me. It's me, and my assistant. I shouldn't say that, but she handles a lot of the more of the brand collaboration stuff. It's me trying to figure out all this tech stuff at 53. So, bear with me. If you notice my videos are getting a little bit better because I'm learning more things. I'm taking a little bit more classes so I can learn. So now I'm trying to, starting to put like the nutritional facts on the screen so you guys could kind of see where you're getting your protein, how many calories, and the most important thing, fiber. Okay? I hope that answered some of your question. Good morning, love. Your views are dropped in. Hello. Your replay. I will have this on replay. So if you can't hang around, I will have it on replay so you guys can watch. Okay. For Betty, Regine I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. You're asking, I need more fiber. What would you suggest that I can have? Psyllium husk. Psyllium husk is a powder that you just put in water. It doesn't dissolve. Add that to your diet. That will give you the amount of added fiber that you need. So you don't have to only get it from food, but most of your fiber, if you're getting it from food, is gonna come from dark leafy greens, broccoli, kale. You get fiber from beans too, from legumes, but your dark leafy greens is where you're gonna get a lot of your fiber, and add psyllium husk to your diet. Good morning, I love your video. All right, for Sonia, and I got this question a lot, so just so you guys know, I live in Atlanta, Georgia, and I also said that question here. So someone asked, because I said I was Jamaican, when did I come here? Where did I live where did I live in Jamaica? When I first moved here, where did I live? Where do I live now? Okay. So my family migrated here from Jamaica, and I lived in St. Catherine. So for those of my people from Jamaica, I lived in St. Catherine, Edgewater is where I live. So I live right by Helsha Beach. I went to school at Alvernia Prep. I moved to the US when I was 10 years old, and we moved to the Bronx. And we moved to the South Bronx, guys. We were not familiar with America, and we lived in the South Bronx, 3rd Avenue, and 163rd. So if any of you are familiar with the South Bronx, that is the South Bronx. Yes, where all of rap music, besides Queens, started. So we lived there for a little bit, maybe 2 years or so, and then we moved to another part of the Bronx, which we call it Uptown. And I lived on 227th Street in Laconia, right by Edenwald Projects. And that's where I grew up most of my time. I lived there till I was probably about, I'm gonna say 24, 23 or 24 when I got married. And at that point, my husband and I decided that it was time for us to move out of the Bronx and move to the suburbs because we decided we wanted to have children, and I just didn't want to raise my children in that environment. So that's when I moved to New Rochelle, which is in Westchester. I lived there for a little bit, moved, raised my kids till they were probably about 7 or so, and then I moved to Atlanta, and I think I've been here probably 18 years now. Yeah, I'm gonna say I've been in Atlanta about 18 years. We lived in the suburbs outside of Atlanta called Swanee. And once my kids went off to college, once my daughter, the youngest, went off to college, my husband and I decided the suburbs was not for us, and we moved to the city of Atlanta. So I live in the city of Atlanta now. And that, yes, I live in Midtown, so that is the view of the skyline of Atlanta. I hope that answered a lot. South Bronx love, LC Rich. Yes. Yes. South Bronx. That was some times, but you know what? I wouldn't trade any of my experience growing up for nothing. Now, I know when I moved from Jamaica, it was a culture shock. Most people think when you come from the Caribbean, you're like dirt poor, you're walking around with no shoes, you have no idea. But that wasn't the life that I was used to. Like I said, both my parents were educated, college educated. My dad was an accountant in Jamaica. My mom was a nurse. And we had a good life. I went to prep school, and then we came to America. And the reason why we left, because everybody said, well, why did you come here if your life was so good? It was called because of political persecution. Obviously, the politics in those countries is wild, and we had to get out. So that's why we came to America. And I was in culture shock living in the Bronx, in the South Bronx. I was in culture shock. But you know what? Like I said, I wouldn't trade it. I learned a lot, and I got street smarts and, everything else. So, LC Rich, thank you for tuning in. All right, beautiful, I think I might want to try. The carrot dog, NW, oh my God, that carrot dog, the amount of comments, people wanted to kill me over that carrot dog. Now, understand, when I first went plant-based, a lot of recipes I was not familiar with, but kind of experimentation. I just tried to read a lot, and I came across that recipe, and I was like, oh, let me try it. I was very surprised it tasted like a hot dog. I didn't think it was gonna taste like a hot dog either. I remember the person that was filming me for that video for YouTube, she didn't even wanna try it. I was like, do you wanna try it? She's like, no, it's gonna taste like carrots. I don't like carrots. And I'm like, I'm telling you, it tastes like a hot dog. And she tasted it, and she was just like, oh my God. And that was it. So you know what? I take the criticism again. When you get to your 50s, and I may have to curse a little bit, you kind of don't give a damn. You don't give a fuck what people say. You know what I mean? You're like, whatever. So understand, guys, you don't have to fight for me in the comments. I don't care. The comments don't bother me at all. At all. I actually love the comments. So, negative or positive, the comments, they make my day. I'm gonna go to these comments and see. if there's anything else. A lot of people are asking for recipes in here, and I will keep all of these and add it to my list of different recipes that I could come up with, just so you guys get a chance to see how it's made. A lot of people are also asking for me to make recipes for people that are single. I get it. I totally understand. I will try. I will try, because now that I'm not feeding a family of four, both my kids are grown and out of the house. It's just my husband and I. So, the meals are a little bit smaller. So I'll try to come up with recipes that is easier for a single person, instead of, cooking all those big meals. All right, all right. Let me see. Somebody asked what part. Oh, another a good question. This is from a unapologetic. Sometimes that Jamaican accent be coming out. And unapologetically me 2764 asked this question. Do you have siblings? Are they vegan or vegetarian? Okay. And I know it always seems odd, because people always be like, well, being vegan or plant-based must be real nasty, because why are you the only one in your family that is? Okay. All right. Being plant-based, and guys, you will see, because you know what? It's a struggle. You have to find, in order for you to go vegan totally or plant-based, you're going to have to find your why. Meaning, why are you doing this? And that is what's going to keep you and keep you sticking to it, right? So for me, there was a couple of reasons why I went vegan or plant-based. I started out by saying I didn't like the way I felt. This started years ago. Now, when I was a teenager, I think in the last live, I told you guys I had horrible skin. When I was about 14, 15, my skin was so bad. I mean, I had acne here. I had bumps on my nose, my forehead. It was so much acne. My dad went to Jamaica, found a Rasta man, and got some herbs, brought it back, boiled it up. I drank herbal tea, and it cleared up my skin. At 15, it kind of clicked. I was like, okay, if the tea cleared up my skin, food must have something to do with how your body works. But I'm 15, so I'm not really thinking about like how I'm gonna change my diet. When I got into my 20s, I started thinking more about it. So that's when the first time, I think when I, first started dating my husband, I said to him, let's go vegan. And there was just not, I didn't have any education behind it, right? So all I knew was, let's just curry some chickpeas and that's it. So that's when I first went vegan. Everybody thought I was crazy. My family thought I was crazy. Like I said, my dad was just like, you're not gonna eat this chicken. Everybody thought I was crazy. And again, I didn't have the education behind it. When I got pregnant with my son, I was mostly pescatarian, so I ate fish. With my daughter, 2 years later, when I got pregnant with her, I kind of went back to being vegan. And then when I was pregnant with her, I craved chicken. So then I started eating buffalo chicken, buffalo wings. That's what my body was craving. That's what it wanted. And then after that, it was kind of hard. It was like, all right, I'll just do fish, until, and I told this story before, my son in pre-K had a lot of hyperactivity. He was just bouncing off the walls. The school called and was like, we have to have a discussion. Something's going on with him. And they wanted to do an evaluation to see if maybe he had, something wrong. After their evaluation, they realized that, you know what, maybe he just needs some discipline, right? And what was nice is that the teacher gave me a book that said, loving your child is not enough. So that helped me with the discipline part. And she also suggested to check his diet. She's like, just make sure whatever you're giving him. I was a new mother. I didn't know. There's no parenting book that I had to learn from. I was just following what my parents did. And I thought it was cute to send him to school with, the juicy juice and, all that, snacks and all that stuff. It was killing him. It was basically killing him. So I went to the library and I tried to read as much as I can about nutrition. And that's what made me go back into being vegan. Again, because my family is not vegan, going to events or family function and stuff became hard, so I would go back again. to eating, what they were eating again, not feeling good. Not until my son was in college, his first year of college. And I could remember the last meal that I had that was meat. And a lot of people can relate to this. Publix makes a smoked turkey. So it was Thanksgiving 10 years ago. So this December coming is going to be 10 years since I'm straight vegan. No, never had anything animal that I know of. So Publix made this smoked turkey, and my God, it was good. And I remember we had it for Thanksgiving, and I felt like crap afterwards. I remember that, those 3 days after Thanksgiving, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I was just like, I had diarrhea, then I was constipated, then I just felt like crap. Now my son had went back to school, after the break, and I remember he called to ask me how I was doing, and I was like, "God, I feel like hell. I can't do this." And he said to me, "Mommy, why don't you watch this documentary that I watched called What the Health? I think, maybe it will help you a little bit." And I remember I watched that documentary. It was on December 1st. And from that moment, I said, you know what? I'm not doing this anymore. Why? Why am I doing this? I'm just going to eat plant-based. Also, what keeps me going, both my parents have passed on, and my mom had her first heart attack at 52. She passed at 62. So for 10 years, she lived with a pacemaker, just sick all the time. She passed from congestive heart failure. My dad passed at, I think he was 73. So he lived a little bit after her, but he dealt with diabetes, high blood pressure. When I tell you, he just had a tray full of medication. It was crazy. And I remember saying to myself, I don't want this. I don't want to live like this. So not only did I stop eating meat because I just didn't feel good, I wanted to be healthier. And I wanted to go into my age, in my older years, being strong and healthy. I didn't want to be feeble. I didn't want to be sick. I didn't want to be taking pills. So that is my motivation. So every time I look at meat or whatever and people be like, "Oh, don't you want it?" No, because I kind of think back to my parents' health problems, and I just think about how I used to feel and how sick I used to feel, and then I don't want it anymore. But because I remember how good that food used to taste, that's why I try to make what I eat now taste like that. So for all the vegans that saying, "I don't understand why you want your food to taste like meat if you're vegan," I remember how good that food used to taste, and that's why I try to replicate or duplicate the same flavors, because it's nostalgic to me with the plant-based food that I have now. So I hope that answers your question. And as far as siblings, yes, I have siblings. I have 3 sisters. I'm the oldest. Um, they've been vegan on and off, but they're not completely vegan now. But they try to eat mostly plant-based because I am much older than my other sisters. Like I said, I'm 53. Then I have a sister that's 52. Then my crazy parents decided when I was in college to have a second set of girls. So I have sisters that are 20 years younger than me. So those 2 sisters that are that gap in years, they have tried to eat healthier, and so they're not vegan, but they try to eat healthier, and they understand, they listen. All right, let's see what else we got. Yay, Cherie Johnson. Thank you for all your comments. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, let me deep dive. Let's see what are we looking at? A half an hour have passed. I know you guys have things to do, so I don't want to keep you guys too long. Let me look through real quick and see if there's anything that I can answer. And sometimes, guys, if I don't answer the questions here, sometimes the site, the platform will hide questions because it has like words that they think is like, not appropriate. So sometimes I won't see your comment, and that's why I don't answer. All right, let's see. Anybody have any other questions here that's been just burning that you're like, I gotta ask Michelle, anything else you wanna know about me? Like I said, it's a half an hour in, and I know you guys have things to do. It's Sunday. I'm sure you probably wanna go hang out with your family and have brunch. And I love you all back. Sabrina Phipps, thank you so much. What I tell you, this has been a journey. Like I said before, this is not where I thought I would be at 53, but it's where I knew I wanted to be. You know, I started out in the makeup industry as a makeup artist. And I think I said it to you guys because I wanted to be a chef, but I got into the makeup industry by accident. I've always loved to draw. I love art. That's just who I am. So I think makeup was easy for me. I loved it when I was in it, but it wasn't fulfilling. It was not what I wanted to do. Most of my career was with MAC Cosmetics. I worked for them as a business manager in New York and in Atlanta for about 16 years. After I had a burnout, I just couldn't do it anymore. I decided to open my own makeup studio in Buckhead here in Atlanta. A friend of mine and I decided that we were going to do it together. And after that and its success, it was doing well. I was just not being fulfilled. It just was not what I wanted to do. I just didn't feel like running that type of business anymore. So in 2019, I decided to sell my portion of the business, my half of the business, to her. So the business still exists. And just decided, my husband was retired, and I decided, well, you know, since you're retired, I'm retired, let's travel the world. But guess what happened, guys? COVID happened, and that kind of shut our plans down for a little bit. And I just started to post my food, what I was eating, on Instagram, and that took off. And, you know, before you know it, here I am. You know, I wanted to show you guys more in depth how to cook, just to share, because there were so many questions. And how long, how this, how do you do this? And I figured out how to work YouTube and started doing the videos. So if you go back to my old videos, it's been probably 3 years of on YouTube. You will see before I had the locks, when I had just natural hair, and how just crazy those videos are. But I've gotten better, and I'm trying to share more with you guys. And I'm so thankful. As you can see, 100,000 of you decided to subscribe and watch these videos every week, and I'm so thankful to have you. And I'll try to do more lives. Keep asking questions. I do read the comments. And yeah, guys, thank you so much for joining me on my live. I'll try to do more of these. Enjoy your Sunday, and I'll see you in the kitchen. Bye, guys.